Hi everybody, it's Gina again. By now, you're convinced that a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. We've come in with an open mind and we were willing to go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. And if you've made it this far, I want to tell you how proud I am of you and what great courage you have. We're up to step 4. And the goal of recovery here is to never use again, one day at a time. I just wanted to tell you that being convinced that selfishness and self-centeredness is the root of all of our troubles, not drugs and alcohol, self-defeated us. And it was agreed upon in the beginning that we were willing to go to any length for victory over alcohol and drugs. And the steps are connected for a reason. It's a comprehensive plan against the insane idea. And we looked at the insane idea that doing one more of anything would not be a good idea. And it's not. One more of anything is never a good idea. It's progressive and ultimately we know it's fatal. So we want protection against that insane idea because it's fueled by spiritual sickness. And that's what we have. And this insane idea can't get going unless we fuel it to trigger the desperate experiment. And I don't know about you, but I ran all the experiments I was willing to run. So let's examine spiritual sickness and the common manifestations that we need to list on step 4. And there's 4 things. The first one is resentments. The second one would be fears. The third one is our sex conduct. And the fourth one would be harms done others. And none of this is easy, but it's necessary. So resentments, we understand, are what block us from the sunlight of the spirit. And in Latin, resentment means to feel again. Although the situation has long gone for somebody else, it's like it happened yesterday to us. And if you have 100 things to tell somebody else and only tell 99, you might just be wasting your time. So we want to remove the fuel. We don't want to stew in it, right? Because that insane idea needs fuel. We've spent our whole lives trying to cover up this stuff. And so now it's important to write it down. Our fears creates a perceived need to change our reality, and it's associated with self-reliance. These things create an obstacle to hope. And some of the things that you might be afraid of are being homeless, relapse, being stupid, or not as smart as somebody else. These things you'll have to examine with a sponsor. For me, I was definitely afraid of relapse. I didn't know if I had another recovery in me. Homelessness, because I have children. I owed a lot of money. And courage. I didn't have self-esteem. And these were the things I was afraid of. It's important to look at our sex conduct as well. They say resentments are the number 1 offender. Not necessarily. It could be shame. And in this case, shame might be the number 1 offender. And sex can corrupt our minds to promote the insane idea. Remember, we're trying to remove the fuel. If you have an already lit barbecue and you add gasoline to it, it would just make the fire bigger. And that's what happens when we stew in our resentments. The fire gets bigger, and we want to eliminate the fuel we're adding to it. Harms done others. This compromised my relationships because of my selfish behavior. And sometimes you may need to document yourself. If we get away with one thing, I promise you there's a good chance we're going to get away with more. And all of these create obstacles to hope. And remember, it was agreed upon in the beginning that we were willing to go to any length for victory over alcohol and drugs. And if you're convinced, like I was, we don't wait. How fast do you want to recover? In the book it talks about next we launched out. And we were usually as definite as the examples in the book, not more definite. Remember, we're not writing a diary. We want to uncover unsaleable goods and be rid of them, what no longer serves us anymore. And by now, hopefully you have a deeper level of honesty and a closer relationship with your higher power, which I like to call God, because I know that God resolves these. And it's necessary to do this heavy lifting one time and to eliminate the fuel, because when a spill comes along, we can wipe it up and move on. And sometimes we're not victims, we're volunteers, and we're powerless over drugs and alcohol and people, places, and things. Anything that makes our life unmanageable. And in step 5, we are going to bring it to another person, admitted to ourselves, another person, and God. And we're going to examine that in our next video. And if you have any questions, write them down and we'll examine them or look them over. And I want to thank you all for letting me be of service. And I'll see you next time. I love you all. Bye.